chuffy 1 2. Make sure we've got the kilobytes. Check chuffy. I'm not even on the right. Create a dashboard. That's no. Where is it? Stream manager. I'm the stream manager. There we are. Look. Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Looked like the colour balance was going a bit funny then, didn't it? Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Looked like the colour balance was going a bit funny then, didn't it? Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Looked like the colour balance was going a bit funny then, didn't it? Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Oh, hello. Looked like the colour balance was going a bit funny then, didn't it? Check chuffy 1 2. There we are. Look. Oh, hello. Looked like the colour balance was going a bit funny. I think that's alright. Give you one of these. Might come back to that. Check chuffy 1 2. Let's get the check chuffy. Let's get the chat popped out. These days you're supposed to go straight into this. You're supposed to go like boom. Here we are. Way. Streaming and that. Just want it like over there. Chat over there. Have we got it on here? Where's my chat window? That needs moving. Right up. Check chuffy 1 2. Where should pop that? Should pop that there. This, you can see it's Zelda music. That's not on, is it? Where's the controller, you chuffer? Well, I'm gonna have issues if I can't find the controller. This one might work. This one might do it. Although it's notorious for being a bit of a chuffer. Oh no, yeah. And there we go. That's nice, isn't it? Dominating. That's nice, isn't it? Dominating. Need you to turn that down a bit. Turn it down a little bit. 1 2 chuffy 1 2. 1 2. Turn it down a little bit. 1 2 chuffy 1 2. 1 2. Turn it down a little bit. 1 2 chuffy 1 2. 1 2. That's about right. So it's a picture of the. It's supposed to be the dog, isn't it? Hang on, let's turn that on. It's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be that. Oh, look, there's an animal, a bed for an animal. Son's animal. Son's animal. No animal today. No animal today. Dog was here earlier, but when I started streaming, he chuffed off. So one day, you know, we'll move towards that. One day there will be an animal on there. Look at that. Oh, it's over there. Until then, I could put something more interesting there, couldn't I? I need to have an animal replacement service. I'm thinking the hat that I'm wearing would be good because it says ganjikidd on it, but I'm wearing it, so that's not going to happen. Oh, I don't like it on that bit of hair. I want it all tucked in. All tucked in, all not stray, that's better. Tucked in. Need to give myself a haircut around the sides, just shave it all off. Anyway, I'm just chuffing because I'm here a little bit early and I'm just making sure that we've got all the settings right. I was telling you about the Zelda music that I've chosen to use this week. Thought we'd have a nice little bit of music, nice little light music in the background. I think it's kind of nice, isn't it? So I've just gone for that. I think it's copyright free, isn't it, with the old video game music? Certainly there's about 1 million channels on YouTube with like Zelda and chill. We will see. If this episode gets brutally DMC'd off the map, then that'll be a shame. Hello, nice to see you here. Nice to see you here. Did we... one thing at a time, look. One thing at a time. Nice to see a new chatter. I assume it's... I recognise names, but I'm not... I think that's a new... Nice to see obnoxiously loud chatter in the house. Snippy snips. No, we haven't seen the dog. The dog's fine. He was here just a minute ago. He's just chuffed off. He's just chuffed off. Because I'm going to do the talking. I like go in the bed, I say, and you eat. The cat goes in the bed sometimes, so the dog's not into it. So it's rocking. It stopped when I started looking for it. So we're here a little bit early, just making sure everything works. We've got a little bit of music in the background today. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. I hope it's nice. Hope it's going to work out nicely. And today what we're going to be looking at, it's going to be interesting today. It's going to be different. We're here, of course, for mental health support. So we are Mental Health Monday. That's us. I'll shuffle that around so you can see it properly. That's who we are. We're also ganjikidd. Well, I'm ganjikidd. I'm Scott. That's it on YouTube there. Chuffers. It says chuffers. So I say chuffer. I mean, it's like a ever evolving circle of chuff. You can see the streams uploaded. It's like a historical record. All of it's there, except for the things that I take off because I think, oh, I don't like that. But mainly it's all there. And there's going to be a new one after today. Yesterday on stream, I had a little cry. Not a big cry. Don't worry. Not a big cry. Just one of the aspects of one of the games talking about Zelda and feelings. I had a little bit of so not that one. But the next Moonlighter video, that's going to be a little bit emotional. I'll make it live as soon as we finish this broadcast. You can also see ganjikidd, things we edit. That needs updating this week. ganjikidd art chat, things we edit. That needs updating this week. Mental Health Monday, that's us. That's where we are now. And some of the channels and some of the chuff. What we're doing today, you'll love this. This will be interesting. We're absolutely here if you've got mental health. Oh look, the gifties. That's nice. I haven't opened the window. Look, I thought I had everything. I'm not used to this. Give me a second. I'm not used to this. I've got another thing, haven't I, to do? Another aspect of the stream that I need to turn on, which is this thing, alert box, copy, paste that into that, paste and go. And I always like to copy that into there as well and paste and go with that. And then we'll open that. And then this one we'll just put over here and make it little. Make that little, like so. And this is the alert box. So that needs to exist. And then I need to go to OBS. So many windows. Had it all sorted. Forgot about this. Go to OBS and make sure that the overlay is connected to the alert box widget. There you go. Now that will pop up when things happen. We assume. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We can test it with one of them. There you go, look. So that exists now. We've got that. Less time spent mashing my brain with that, the better. So let's close these other windows that we don't need. And let's go back to what I was saying. So we're going to do this in a minute, of course. In 6 minutes, when we officially get started, I'm going to say that we're here for mental health support. If you need direct, if you want to talk to us in chat, if you've got something that's on your mind, that's absolutely fine. We can just start doing that. But if you need direct, let me just check I'm still. And that's absolutely fine. We can just start. If you need direct support and you need like a phone person on the end of the phone, Samaritans in the UK, 116 123. And in the US of A, that's America, there's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. That's that. But what we're doing today, that's an old building, isn't it? That's an old building. Well, you think that's old? Oh, testing the system. Oh, here we go. The chuffing thing. We've been through this before, haven't we? With this chuffing thing. It does. How do I make it so it works? Oh, things happening. There you go. Look. It's working. Thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Testing. Got a new thing on the stream. It works. We're good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I bet you like it, don't you? I bet you like it because it comes up on the screen now. I bet you like it more. It's better now. It's better. I was telling you what we're doing, and I'm moving things, shuffling things around and getting confused. So that's a picture of an old building. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's coming up on the screen. You're going to be immortalised in the edit. Got some other stuff. Look, this is history. Oh, what? That's the olden days. So you think that building's old, but it's not as old as the olden days. And here we've got this really interesting, well-written piece about the olden days from then to now. So that's like... Thank you very much. Look at this. This is fantastic. This is officially the best day on stream ever for me now. Officially, well, not officially. There's some high ranking. There's been some sub bombs that've been dropped, so they rank pretty high. My golden legendary stream brain clip in my brain. Memories. Making a few today. Thank you. We're 3 minutes before the whole thing even kicks off. What we're going to be talking about. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention. This is nice. This is thank you. This is thank you. This is good. We should get the dog involved. He's not even here. It's not even here. We're going to be looking at the history of mental health. We've got this really well written article. At some points, it made me feel a little bit sad about the things that had happened to the people in the past. So I'm going to try and keep it light, but at the same time looking at some really interesting facts. We're not going to get into the modern history, the very modern history. We might do that next week. It's a little bit, like the very modern history gets a bit dark, to be honest. Gets a bit dark. It gets a bit dark. Not like these tippy chippies. Thank you. Do I say thank you every time? Is that the... I think I do. Yeah. I check that in my own, you know, what I think in my brain there, and I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, absolutely. I thought about it if I was just, you know, if someone held the door for me, I'd say thank you, wouldn't I? So I'd say thank you every time for that. I don't say, oh look, that's happened a few times, so I'll stop saying thank you. No, I'll say thank you every time. Yeah. We're going to look at the history. We've also got another... I'm going to try and keep it a bit light. We've also got this, right? Now, this will blow your sock. Look at this for a website. This is what websites used to look like. Isn't it? This is what websites used to look like. When they were good. And on this, you can scroll down. And it's got all these... Look at all those dates. You can click on any date there, and you can find out about mental health at that particular time in history. Or we can scroll down, and just like websites used to be, there's all your information. A lot of it has got links going from like 1100 and before, AD 129. We're going from way back all the way through history. Look, in the way websites used to be. Look at that. Or just somebody's taking the time to type all that out. Here's a good bit. Bedlam, 1559. We're going to alight on that at some point. So this is my more favourite. I'll show you. Look at this. We've got the WebBubba browser already. Oh no, it's not already set up. Look. Why is my picture not the right size and shape? Now we've got problems. One of these buttons is supposed to do this, I swear. Come on, you buttons. There you go. Look, that's how we go. This is how we roll. In full control. And I make my face a little bit bigger, and I go over here. And we also need chat for this. We absolutely need chat for this. So we're going to have chat, and we're going to turn you on. And we're going to move you up. Big old chat there, isn't it? Well, I've made that worse. It's a good job we didn't start till... Oh, great. It's 8 o'clock officially now. Now officially we have started. Quick, before anyone sees. Now officially we have started. So... I should have done this before we started. But I've waited till we started. I had all that time. This is like my exams all over again. It's like my exams all over again. I had all that time and I wasted it messing around, having fun, and now it's actually happening and I've messed it up. But at the time, no, it's not like my exams, because on the time of my exams I had quite a lot of fun. I remember writing for one exam. Look, that's the, so you can see that. We'll go back to this. We'll start the episode officially, and then I'll go straight on a tangent about exams. There you go, you have that. Hi, you're with... I forgot my name. I'm the main one. Hang on. What am I? Ganjikidd, there we are. Hi, you're with Scott. I've got the wrong thing, it's Mental Health Monday. Right, there's that. We'll start again. Hi, you're with Scott. It's Mental Health Monday. It's Monday. It's not always Monday. It's 8 p.m. GMT. This is your right ear, and that's your left ear. Ta-da! Welcome to Mental Health Monday. I'm about to go on an immediate tangent about exams. If you wanted to know what was happening in a minute, you should have been here earlier. What's happening in a minute is it's the history, strange history, dark history maybe. If you're feeling bad and sad and blue, I'm listening. And here's 116123 for free, Samaritans, if you think I'm a bit too upbeat and chuffling on and you need immediate support. If you need immediately support, you're there. And Lifeline, 1-800... This is my immediate support. This is my Lifeline coming through on the tippy chippies there. So I thank you for that. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255 if you're in the United States of the Americas. I am ganjikidd on YouTube. That's there. We've been through that. This is Mental Health Monday. We're talking about the history, but before we do, I'm just going to tell you about my exams. Because in one exam, not all my exams. I'm not going to tell you about every exam. That would take a while. But I'll tell you about one of my favourites, which was, we did a subject for A-levels. A-levels are quite serious, bear in mind. We did a subject called General Studies. Didn't sound like much to me, General Studies. General's quite vague, isn't it? Vague. So at that time in my life, this is not advice, this is just a story. At that time in my life, I didn't think it was... I just sort of... General Studies, I didn't even know which classroom it was in because it never turned up. Just never... General Studies, mate. I can find that out by reading the newspaper. General Studies. General? What, generally about stuff? I know about stuff. So when I sat the exam, let's bear in mind, I can't remember the questions these days, but when I sat the exam, I thought, oh, hello, these questions are quite specific. I thought this was going to be general. It's been advertised as being general, but yeah, well, there you go. Everyone bunked on your General Studies, exactly. But this is not advice. This is not advice, because when you sit the exam, I sat that exam and I was like, this is more specific. Should have been advertised as specific studies about specific things. It wasn't. It was advertised as general. No, it was like citizenship and certain aspects. So I remember writing, and I remember thinking, look, this is General Studies. So they might have asked some specific questions, but let's be fair. If I can write some like comprehensible, serious business, if I can get through an hour of writing some serious business, not an hour. I'm not going to sit the whole hour, am I? I need got things to do. Look, anyway, if I can write some. So I wrote like a nice little essay about Margaret Thatcher, something about social reform, and about how social mobility changed society. It was quite general. Because I was, going with the theme. It was a theme. The questions were asked about specific things. I took them as a theme, a jumping off point. I think I got unclassified for that one. I think it was unclassified. Was that my lowest score? I don't, unclassified. I think unclassified. I don't know what unclassified. So I didn't pass general studies, but I feel it was advertised wrong. So that was a story about an exam. If you get exam stress, then you can look on Mental Health Monday. We've got videos here, and one of these videos is about exam stress. And there, look, exam stress checklist. So you can check that out, and you don't have to do what I did. I wasn't stressed though. I thought I was doing well. Anyway, what we're doing today is the history, the dark history of mental health. And it's a bit, I've got the Zelda music, it's got nice background music, but it gets a bit dark in places, so we're going to try and keep it light. We're going to use Inquiry's Journal, who seem to know their stuff. If you want to read it, don't start going on, you want it, look, we can make it big on the old web browser. We can do that. That's fine. We've got it here. You can have a look. No one stop it. You're not allowed to read it, really, because I'm going to do that. I'm going to skim over that a bit, and we're going to refer to this one, because this one's cool, isn't it? The way the internet used to be. So we're away now. We're away. You might wonder, you keep seeing it, so you might wonder what this image, the first psychiatrist, the witch doctor, as portrayed by a prehistoric artist in the cave of Trois Frères, Arigère, France. My accent went off towards the end. Sorry, Trois Frères, Arigère, France. According to Alexander and Selesnik. See, this is like the old internet where you got all the links and you can actually tell the information. What they're basically saying is that in prehistoric times... See, I'm laughing. It's not actually that funny. In prehistoric times, they thought that... they think that mental health was a kind of mystical, magic, religious phenomenon. And he dug up this skull, and they think that these holes in the skull, what they reckon is that this wasn't somebody bashing someone's head in. This was... it's a bit different this week, isn't it? It's not about modern mental health. So it's an interesting, different week. If you need one, if you want to talk about your modern mental health support, we can do it. We can just bring up the Samaritans. It's no problem. We can go back to that anytime. We can go back to that other thing anytime. We can always do this. So don't worry. We're just chatting about this for a bit. That's going to help my edit, isn't it? I'm going to have to cut that out. So they bashed holes in the head. It wasn't. It was clearly the result of surgery, not violence, they say, at about 5000 BC. And this, they reckon, is evidence for mental health disorder and primitive approaches to fixing it. I don't know if you can infer that because you found a skull with some bashings. I don't know if you can infer that, but that's what they're inferring. Okay, this is the way the internet used to be, you see. This is the way, but they bring up this Bethlehem Hospital, so we're going to go over to the way the internet is now. I'm going to go back to the comfort of the way the internet is now, and I'm going to read somebody else's words that are written quite nicely. Attempts to treat mental illness date back as early as 5000 BC, as evidenced by the discovery of trephine. Oh God, already with the words. Maybe the internet as it was is better because they didn't mention these trephine skulls, and I said bashed your head in. They're referencing it here in the modern internet though. So early man widely believed that mental illness was the result of supernatural phenomenon such as a spiritual or demonic possession, sorcery, the evil eye, or an angry deity, and so responded with equally mystical and sometimes brutal treatments. I don't know how mystical, I don't know how you get mystical from bashed in skull. And then they tell you about the practice. We're going to skim over that. We're not interested exactly in every single the details of how to bash people's skulls in. It's not what we're interested in. It happened, apparently. In ancient Mesopotamia, priest doctors, and this is not a picture of ancient Mesopotamia. Don't worry about that. In ancient Mesopotamia, they weren't dressed up as the Tin Man with a tin funnel on there. This isn't the Wizard of Oz. We'll come to this in a minute. In ancient Mesopotamia, priest doctors treated the mentally ill with magico-religious rituals, as mental pathology was believed to mask demonic possession. They're giving you a little Alexander there. I don't know if that's out of the Bible. Alexander 19, or if it's out of over here on the internet as it used to be. You've got all the proper links. Got all the proper links on here. They've got a lot of this stuff from the Bible as well. Look, Moses prohibits anyone who has a blemish from priestly service. Apparently. But yeah, ancient Greece and Rome here. See, now it wasn't all bashing people's heads in. Ancient Greece and Rome begins with a discussion of this other fella's book begins with a discussion of pre-classical Egyptian, Middle Eastern, Judaic influences on the Greek and Roman theory and practice, and they had psychodrama, and they talked about the senses and reason. So they were getting onto something there. They're talking about the concepts, weren't they? We've got some Arabic translations from Greeks to Latins, medical education in Europe from the 11th and 12th century. That's getting on a bit though. Hebrews believed that all illness was inflicted upon humans. Hebrews believed that all illness was inflicted upon humans by God as punishment for committing sin, and that demons were thought to cause some illnesses attributed to God's wrath. So that would have been difficult to deal with, wouldn't it? Ancient Egyptians seem to be the most forward-thinking. I worry though, forward-thinking. Although they would engage in recreational activities such as concerts, dancings and paintings to relieve symptoms. So at least that was not bashing people's skulls in. So the ancient Egyptians had some concepts that they were dealing with it. But we do find out that they also thought the diseases were caused by supernatural forces. Again, demons. So you don't want to be unwell in ancient Egypt, but thankfully you're not. Thankfully you're not. You're not unwell in ancient Egypt, but if you were, they would have helped you more than bashing your head in. But then they would have possibly thought that your problems were inflicted upon you by God. In all of these ancient civilizations, mental illness was attributed to some supernatural force. Beliefs, I mean, that's, I shouldn't gloss over it too much, but back then they didn't have much of a concept of much of the modern science, did they? But it would have been quite big, wouldn't it? I'm going to do big face for big things. Where's my big face? Where's my big face? It would have been quite a tough concept to deal with, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Imagine you're unwell mentally, finding things difficult. I mean, ancient Egypt must have been quite stressful, mustn't it? We think today's day and age is quite stressful, and it is. It is. There's lots of things that get you down these days. Absolutely. But in ancient Egypt, maybe it was a more simple life. But then maybe, there were some social injustices that you would have found difficult to deal with. Maybe the crocodiles. Maybe having to do farming with the crocodiles around. I don't know. Maybe you're worried about that pyramid that you were supposed to be getting up. The pharaoh's getting on in years, and your pyramid is still not finished. You said you'd do that. You'd finish that pyramid. Oh, the stress. Anyway, if you were having mental health issues in ancient Egypt, then it would have been declared upon you that God did it. The gods did it. So it would. I mean, you don't really. I mean, how do you get better from that? How do you get better from that? I suppose you have to appease the gods, don't you, in some way? Then I bet it gets really confusing, doesn't it? How would you appease the gods? What do the gods want of me? Why have they done this to me? That sort of thought process is probably not beneficial if you're suffering mentally. Is it? Strange, isn't it? I mean, when you reflect on today, doing this completely, I didn't make a script about this, I just read through the websites a bit and had a little think. When you're doing this today, there are people that will tell you, I mean, spirituality is an important part of humanity, and I'm not going to absolutely write off all religious practice and say, oh, religions are all completely bad, but I'm also not going to say that religion is your total, I was going to use the word like church, like total cover-all, like, that one thing you're religious aspects, your spiritual aspects. You don't have to be one religion or the other. You can be anything you want here. I don't mind. You know, you might believe this or that, you know, spiritually, about what happens to your soul, about what doesn't happen to your soul. You've got your beliefs, that's fine. But they don't have to be the... they're not the fix for all your problems, and nor should they be. And if someone's trying to say to you that they will be, then there's a bit of a worry about who's saying that. Absolutely, I think that. I mean, it's absolutely good to have things that you use to make yourself feel better. That made it sound bad, didn't it? You use them to make yourself feel better. You know, religion has lots of positive aspects, I'm sure. And I'm not here to diss it completely. But if you if you were just thinking, oh, God's afflicted me with this, that's not probably the way. It's probably not that, is it? It's probably not that God's punishing you for something that you've done. That's not how it works. Even if you did believe in certain aspects of quite archaic religions, even if you were an ancient Egyptian, I'm pretty sure they would say that, you know, God does work in mysterious ways and all this. And, you know, maybe Amun-Ra has not afflicted you with this because of something mean that they wanted you to... Maybe it's, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's... I'm not here to answer for Amun-Ra. But what I'm saying is, isn't it difficult if it's God that you're having to deal with instead of just a maybe chemical imbalance or a stress response or some aspect of your routine and your lifestyle that's driving you down a darker path that you're not really stepping back and looking at and saying, oh, maybe I could change this. Maybe I should do more of that. There's some videos on our channel about what's good to do. But yeah, you just say, well, I'd have to try and please God more. And that might work, or it might, you know, who will answer for Amun-Ra? Well, you know, the ancient Egyptians, I suppose. We've dug enough of them up. So, in quite a respectful way, obviously. Quite respectful, isn't it, to dig them up? I mean, we wanted to find out about what life was like in ancient Egypt, so we dug up all the dead people we could find. We had a good look at them. We put them in the museum, some of them. Amun-Ra will be pleased. So the concept there is that God has not afflicted you with these things, and even if you believe, like the ancient Egyptians, it's not that God has singled you out for an affliction. It's that afflictions happen, and you know, God has developed this concept of a bigger world and getting on with stuff, and we're going to get on with stuff, and we're going to, you know, see our hurdles as things to, you know, the journey makes us stronger sort of business. Amun-Ra would be down with that, I'm sure. He's not here to argue, and nor are the ancient Egyptians. Beliefs about mental illness and proper treatments were altered and in some cases advanced by early European thinkers. Oh, the Europeans. Well, it would say that. It's written in English. I'm sure if I was reading this in an Arabic historical perspective, it might say that, because I know that there's a lot of early philosophical ideas came from Arabic culture as well. So, you know, you got to be careful about who you believe. Inquiry's journal. But no, it's true. It's true. It says it here on the recent internet that between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE, Greek physician Hippocrates denied the long-held belief that mental illness was caused by supernatural forces and instead proposed it stemmed from natural occurrences in the human body, pathology in the brain. That's Hippocrates. Hippocrates. They've said the 3rd, and they haven't said his actual... Let's look on the old internet. Have we got Hippocrates on the old internet? Ancient Greece and Rome, look. Plato's Republic, Socrates, Sophocles, Aristotle, they're all the names. They're all the big names. Hippocrates, am I going to have to look him up? I've got the internet. That's Bedlam Asylum. Hippopotamus. I wanted to go for hippopotamus. Hippocrate. Him. There's his picture. That's what he looks like. That's the internet these days, isn't it? Hippocratic Oath. It probably is. It might be. It might be the Hippocratic Oath. I'm not going to confirm it. Yes, I'm going to say yes because look, there's a medicine symbol and there's a picture there. Hippocratic Oath. So we're confirmed by the internet. Hippocratic Oath. although I didn't know it. Just believing the internet now, just because of the pictures, and it's fairly. I mean, what's nice about it, the modern internet, is that you can see his face. The old internet, as was there. Look, it's all just writing. No one's faces. You don't get anyone's face. In the new internet, the Google, in years to come, when the artificial intelligence processes this, it will say, what do they mean, the Google? Oh, that was the old internet. The modern internet is still to come, of course. But that's him. I mean, I'm assuming they got it right, didn't they, when they made his statue? Because you'd hope. There was that Ronaldo statue, wasn't there? That Ronaldo statue. I mean, this is an example of how it can go wrong, isn't it? We had a friend suggest this in chat the other quite a little while ago, but that's Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if you recognise him. You certainly don't from his statue. So it can go wrong. But we're to assume that he was pleased with this. And that's what he looked like. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I know I'm just going to alight on this. I'm supposed to be doing Mental Health Monday, but this has really caught my attention. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's not just because of the internet that we can see that. It's partly because of the internet, but also I saw him. If I stop the sentence there and just take a sip, I saw him. I went to Rome. I don't know if it still counts. I don't know if I went to Rome and I went in a. Oh, you've lost sound. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I'm not going to have that. Let's check. Just check. Hang on. No, it works. It works. It works. It works. I hope you're okay. I hope he hasn't. Hippocrates hasn't deafened you from beyond the grave with his afflictions. He said they weren't going to be afflictions from ghosts, so that would be ironic. Look, I'm saying they're not from ghosts. I want to stick with this fella. For a minute. I wanted to say I went to Rome once, and I went into this. You're supposed to, if you're one of these people that, you know, you're like, oh, we went to the thingy and the Trevi Fountain, and I went in the old Vatican, or you know these places. I don't remember the names of any of the places. I went round a few of them. There were quite a lot of them. They were quite similar, but at the same time, I was in Rome to see friends, and I went to a vegan fair, and I chatted with some animal activists, and you know, I'd spent time in the homes of people who live in Rome, having dinner with them, and they weren't that interested in like the Trevi Fountain. I mean, they were interested in it, they like it, but don't get me. I didn't get them started on it. We were talking about other things. We were talking about animal rights, to be fair. So, and their political. I'm eating and no, don't talk with your mouth full. Get that cake gone. Get it gone. Get it swallowed. Don't talk with your mouth full. So I was in Rome. It's cake. This is the finest self-made vegan cake. You can see there's walnuts in it. You can't. Well, I don't know if you can see. I'm not going to put it up to the camera. That's staying with me. Nice bit of cake. I've got that there just for emergencies. That seemed like the right time. So in Rome, I was talking to these people. They were cooking some dinners. We were having some fun. And a couple of the days, I said, can we go and have a look around the Trevi Fountain? Because I remember that name. That's the only thing I know. So we went and had a look around Rome. And one of these buildings, I think it had the old David in it. I don't know. I can't remember if I saw David or if I just believe I did because I went around everything else. But the people were animal rights people. They were part of a group called Animal Equality, and they did activism and demonstrations. So I was quite interested in what they were doing, as well as the history of Rome. It's like a double-edged thing, isn't it? and there was a person that was there to see, and I was quite interested in spending time with them as well. Actually, that was the primary reason. But then they had these interesting friends, and then there was Rome, and Anyway, one of the buildings you go in, when you go in there, it's one of these things because there's a queue outside. They've got the tickets. They're all going in. I'm like, we'll go in there then. Oh, you'd like to go and see the thingy thing? And I'm like, yeah, as a cultured person, of course I knew that's what... This is the square that Michelangelo designed. Oh, of course it is. That's why I'm here, because I want to go into the square and see his... there's a queue, so it looked appealing. We went in, and there was all these heads like that. Like, all these heads. And I thought, hello. This is different, isn't it? This is different. I didn't go to the actual Vatican. I'll tell you that. I didn't go to the actual Vatican. I went in some churches. There was one point, tangent after tangent. At one point, my friend had to go and do some tutoring. I was left alone, and I wasn't in the centre of Rome where all the tourist bits are. I was in this, wherever this person lived for their tutoring. So there's a little cafe, but Rome's clever like this. You're like, I'm in a little cafe. I'm going to spend an hour and a half. What am I going to do? I'll go for a little walk around there. Oh, hello. Look at this magnificent church. Look at this huge, magnificent building just round the corner, just in the the neighbourhood, just in the suburbia, just packed in all on the hills. So I popped in this church, and they was doing. It wasn't like the tourist thing. They weren't like, here's your tickets for this one. It was just a working church. There was nuns. There was actual nuns. It wasn't the Vatican. I didn't go in there, but there was actual nuns. They were there up the top, doing something with the priests, and they were up the top doing some nunning, having a right nunning about. So I was careful and quiet. I wasn't going to be like, hey, check out the nuns, let's have a laugh with the nuns, take your picture. I was quite careful and quiet. I did that, I did the old hello. I probably said hello, and they were like, they made their faces. There were some other people being quiet, kneeling, praying, doing the little, when the church business is going on, but they're not having the speeches. It's just the church are doing their business at the top there with the nuns, and the other people who really care are in the church, just sort of kneeling, having a little sweep up, that sort of business. So you're allowed to walk around quietly. No one's going to stop you. You get the camera out, they start having a little, the photo opportunity church is around the corner, mate. The one with all the statues and that's around this is the one with we've got the nuns. Can't take photos of the nuns, mate. They get, don't start. So I was quiet and I was looking around and I did a bit of that. So that's Rome. No, it wasn't. I went into this hall of heads. That's what happened. In the main bit of Rome, they wouldn't have none of that. Side jobbers potentially could have been Jesus. That is the thing. I wonder. That's a good point, isn't it? Possible Jesus. If you work in church, someone like me comes in with the long hair, the bit of the beard, looking a bit scruffy, bear in mind, because I'm not there on my fancy, this isn't my night out, I'm not there on my fancy. Maybe have my little backpack on, like my touristy backpack, come in, looking around, bit lost. Could be Jesus, couldn't it? That's the principle of the religion. That's the point of it. Everyone else other than you is supposed to maybe be Jesus, so you treat them as such. So they should let me take the photo with the nuns. In fact, they should be like, hey, come on in. We don't know for sure about anyone really, but somebody could be Jesus. He was. Do you remember in the old stories, in the old book? Do you remember in the old book, the old stories? We tell you one if you want. I'll get on the thing and no. All right. I do. Yeah, I remember. Jesus was. Wasn't he someone else? Wasn't he for a little bit? Wasn't he? He was, wasn't he, for a little bit? He was like a poor, unfortunate person, and then someone didn't help him, and he was like, oh. Thanks very much. This is exactly what happened, but they didn't send Jesus any tippies, you see. Now, you're okay, because Jesus has got his tippies now, so you're okay. We'll have the ASMR Jesus. We'll have the Jesus for that. We'll have a little bit of bright white Jesus, please. Thank you. And then we go back to... oh, no, that's red. That's the other fella. Let's just fuchsia that up a bit. Not red, that's the other fella. Right, okay. 30-second delay. 30-second delay. It's got settings. It's got settings. I'm not going to mess with them. Don't get me messing with them now. I'm telling you about Jesus. So, right. So they should invite you in, because potentially you could be Jesus. In the old stories, right? In the old book, one of the stories, Jesus was like a transformer, wasn't he? He was what was he? Is there one of those X-Men who can do that? Who can like masquerade or something? I don't know any of the X-Men. Now's the time to not know the X-Men. You know, he was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, wasn't he, Jesus? A bit like that. But without the bad. He didn't have the bad. He could just change him. He was a shapeshifter. I think it's okay to say Jesus was a shapeshifter, isn't it? Jesus was Optimus Prime. He probably, you know what, in theory, you could probably overlay. I can imagine Optimus Prime on the cross. On the cross. Like that. Yeah, probably. And that would make the other ones like the disciples, wasn't it? And the one with the tape recorder is the best disciple, obviously. Decepticons, Judas. No, the devil. Look, so... wait, yeah, let's get back to Jesus. Because this is Mental Health Monday, and I'm allowing it to get way off track. Just the one tangent. Any of us could be Jesus. That is the principle. It's in the book. He was a shapeshifter, and at some points he was like a poor man, and then the people didn't give him any help, and he was like, oh, do you remember when you didn't give that man any help? Well, I was Jesus and I was him, so you should have helped me, you chuffer. Like, he played pranks on people like that. These days he'd have been on YouTube. Old man prank, leper prank. And then another like companion video, like Mr. Beast healing lepers for cash. Not for cash, for just because he's Jesus. So, yeah, you can watch the replay. If you want to watch the replay, you have to watch the full... I'm going to edit all this out of Mental Health Monday. Just be left with a 10-minute episode, mate. So, you could be Jesus. He could be anyone. He was a shapeshifter. He was also, another time, if you remember, he was somebody else. Wasn't he someone else another time? He vanished and reappeared. He did that. That's magic. So anyway, I could be Jesus. That's the principle. It's in the book. You're the religions. You're the nuns. You are the nuns. You're the nuns. I'm me. We're in the church. So when they did come in and they gave me the funny look, not a funny look, but a funny look, like a ghost. Well, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. I thank you very much from the bottom of my Jesus. Well, do you want some more Jesus? This will come out well in the edit. I'll put a reverb on it. Not the red. That's the a bit more fuchsia. So I could be Jesus. I could have been Jesus. Just having a little pop in, having a little check, couldn't I? Who's this coming in at random while we're just up the top messing around with the holy water, blessing the holy water, filling up the jugs, pushing the nuns around. Now I'm the priest, pushing the nuns around. Get over there, you. Get over there, you. They don't remember all the nuns' names because I'm the priest. I'm the main one. They're just the nuns, like pushing them around like pawns. Get over there, you. We need someone to sit over there to stop the chair from falling over. You, human chair. You sit there. I'll sit on you. Get over there, you. Lift me up onto the podium. It's time for the talk. Lift me up onto the podium. Go and let the punters in. Go and let them in. Get the collection plate, you. You. And they all turn round because they're so used to be called you. You. They all turn round. Not you. You. Yeah. No, I'm the priest. Oh, I'm not the priest anymore. Forget him. Her these days. Could have been a... Forget them these days. Maybe they can't. Maybe not in Rome. I don't know. In this particular building, when I walked in, they should have been more friendly and alluring as well. Alluring. If Jesus walked in, you wouldn't want to just be friendly. You'd really want him to come over. Of all your nunning days, of all the days you've been a nun, the day Jesus walks in, that's the time to start showing your sexy side. You need to shave to be a priest. They like silky skin. They like silky, or they like it on themselves or on the young. Anyway, look, wait. I learned that on Ganji Street. It's all going well. Here. It's all going well. So, yeah, if Jesus come in, you'd probably want to look at your sexy best. You'd probably want him to come over. Well, listen, if you're a nun, your main thing is Jesus. That's your main one. You don't have posters of like BTS on your wall, do you? You don't know the names of all the BTS members. Oh God, I don't know them all. God, I don't know them all. I've seen their names so many times. Don't know any of them. Howard from BTS. Howard. There was a Howard intake that. You wouldn't credit it these days, would you? These days, if you want to be a pop star, mate, these days, you've got to have a jazzy name. You can't be Howard, but Ed. You could be Ed. Ed doesn't count. He slipped through the net. Ed Sheeran. Is there a female Jesus? He probably had sisters. I saw a recreation of what Jesus actually looked like. Smoking hot. Well, there you go. You see, he would have been hot. He would have been good looking. Well, he's going to be looking, isn't he? He's going to be good looking because he's Jesus. He's the main. He's got all the good bits. God's not going to be like carving his son out of wax and being like, oh, let's give him a chuffing, one ear up here, one ear down here. Jesus is going to be nicely balanced. Nice setup. Jesus. And he's going to come in, and the nuns are going to be there. And they're going to think, oh, hello, Jesus. He's the main one. Done all my work so far has been to appeal to Jesus. And now he's come in, and he looks quite tasty. He looks quite tasty. He's in the building. He looks quite tasty. Even the priest has got to be thinking this. Even the priest, he's got to be pushing those nuns out of the way. Hey, me, Jesus, me. Jesus won't like that. He'll say, hey, mate, just chill. Stop pushing those nuns around. Hey, priest, leave those nuns alone. He'll come in, and the nuns will be like, oh, look at the way he stood up to the priest. I guess they discard their vestments. Keep the wimple. Just discard the vestments. They've got clothes on underneath. Don't you start getting any funny thoughts here. You. Don't start getting any funny thoughts here. They're not naked underneath those. That would be, you're thinking about naked nuns. That's rude. I'm not suggesting that. They whip off the vestments. They've got their normal clothes on. That's all. Isn't it? That's all. And underneath that, they're naked. Some of them are taking off their shoes. Look, the nuns, the music, one of them's got the organ, haven't they? One of them's on the organ. And the music started to come in. The Barry White. Hey, baby. That's Al Green. Oh, Jesus, we love you. They sing the songs. That's all. They're into that. They sing the songs. You watch Call the Midwife, about the nuns. Oh God, you've heard the songs. Oh Jesus, you're so chuffing great. Aren't you so chuffing great? Oh Jesus, oh baby, I wish you'd. Well, the things I'd wish you'd do. Oh hello, Jesus. That's where the expression comes from, isn't it? Oh Jesus. So that's Jesus. We've covered that. The nuns would like it. They'd be excited. He'd come in. They would appeal to Jesus. They'd want, because the main thing at the end of all of their endeavours, they want to sit down next to him. That's the main one. We all want to sit down next to him. We all want to get up there. Well, if we could get one step ahead of Jesus, if we could push Jesus out of the way and be at the right-hand side of the throne, that would be even better, wouldn't it? That would be even better. Like a Squid Game. like a sort of Squid Game head-to-head final. I'd play Squid Game with Jesus for the seat at the right hand of God. And I'd push him out like that. Push Jesus off. Why did you get him in the neck with the... No, look. Jesus, look. Jesus, could you... Look, me and Jesus, we're all right. We're fine. We're tight. We're pals. He's not gonna go for me. I'm gonna win. So, we're gonna go into the church. I was in Rome. I went in a church. They didn't do that to me. They didn't sex it up for me. They were like, is that camera for you? At one point, somebody sort of, there was a sign about, no photography. This is a normal church. This is not like a, tourist spot. Written in all the different languages for the tourists. That's how we got here. And I went in and the nuns were there. And they should have thought, this could be Jesus. It's time to vamp it up. But instead, they just went about their nunnery. Didn't they? Went about their nunning. Carried on dabbling dabbling in the holy water. Got little ducks and fabbling in the holy water. Penning little ditties about, oh, Jesus, you are so handsome. Like BTS. They're like, the way that young girls, not just girls, is it? See, I'm being sexist again. It's just beaten into me by the patriarchy. When young people are fanning over BTS and other bands, you know, they're doing that over Jesus in their spare time, aren't they? So, you know, they're there with their little pictures of Jesus. They have actually got little pictures of Jesus, haven't they? Another story. I was in the Czech Republic. I was in Prague, and I went in a museum, and I was sort of on my own. Well, sort of, exactly on my own. Like, when I say sort of, I was... It's not like I was sort of on my own. I was definitely on my own. All the other people that I was visiting Prague with, they were off being hungover or drunk, a measure of both. And I'd got some free time because I don't drink, so I was out in Prague. I went in this museum, and there was this really interesting piece. And they had, you know... Okay, so I've got to set this right. So, you know, in museums, you go in and there's like all the art, yeah? You've seen that. Art museum, this was. Art one. It was an art one. It wasn't one of those with the heads. We'll get back to the heads in a minute. All art, all over the walls. All lovely art, big art, interesting art. So they often have someone stood in the corner, don't they? Whose job it is to watch the art. Like that. Make sure the art's all maintaining its artistic integrity. Like that. Like a security, like an art security they have to make sure the art doesn't do anything too dangerous. To make sure nobody's too offended by any of the shocking pieces, to make sure that nobody's ideas are getting influenced too heavily by, oh, could you tone that down, please? Somebody's going to have to remove the Damien Hirst. It's getting out of order again. You know, the art security guard that they have in the museum, the one that's there to make sure that nothing gets out of hand with the paintings. In this Czech Republic, and this is not, bear in mind, this is not in Rome this time. This is the Czech Republic now. It's a different country. In the Czech Republic, they had that, but it was a nun. Honest to God, it was a nun. Now, I don't know if she was there as the art security, or if she was just having a day off. She stayed in the corner. She She wasn't having a wander. I was in there on my own, sort of on my own. Not now, because there's a nun. But when I entered as a solo person. So, please stop fondling Jesus' chest, madam. That's the truth. Maybe she was there. Maybe she was there for the. Maybe she was there for the Jesus, the sexy Jesus. Because one of the pieces, I mean, it was a bit abstract, but it was Jesus on the cross. Jesus on the cross, right? But it was like this sculpture thing made of like metal pieces and concrete. And then they had behind it on the wall like it was painted more resembling Jesus this time. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. She was looking at this painting, wasn't she? She was there just like, you know, oh, Jesus. Look at you in your big painted dark hues, browns, quite rustic and rough and a bit rough and ready, quite dramatic, a little bit abstract, but you know, shapes and forms, strength, Jesus, cross, drama, you know, that sort of business going on. It wasn't like a picture of this head here. You couldn't say, oh, look, there's Jesus. That's his face. It wasn't that clear. It wasn't like a good one of Jesus. It was like abstract and a bit. But there's the cross, isn't it? And that's the strong arms, and that's this crown of thorns, isn't it? That one. And is that his Wonka? No, look, she was there, right? She was there. They're married to him. So exactly, they're already even married to him, aren't they? They're already even married to him. I forgot about that. It's part of the job. You're supposed to get like hot for Jesus. You're supposed to get hot for Jesus. It's part of the. Is it a job being married? No, it's not a job, is it? Not a job. It can feel like that. Oh, hey, you don't know. I don't know because I'm not married. And anyway, look. So in this place, there's one nun. There's not nuns. There's one nun in the corner. I'm there. I'm on my own. I'm looking at this big Jesus. I'm looking at this sculptural Jesus. And these ideas are popping into my mind. You know how it goes. You've all been there. We've all been there in a foreign art gallery on your own with a nun looking at giant slightly sexualized Jesus set against a more mechanical, augmented steel, concrete depiction of a crucifixion. We've all been there, haven't we? So what do you do? Like you would do, you turn to the nun, don't you? You turn to the nun. Oh, look, you're telling your personal business in chat. I'm not going to pick up on that. Hang on, they're married to it. So you're the homewrecker. Oh, you're Jesus' homewrecker. Oh, I see. It's not really your personal business. Put a bit of doubt and confusion there. Oh, people are going to be like, oh, hello. You're edgy. We're all a bit edgy when Jesus is involved because he's hot. So what we're saying is that, so you turn to the nun. We've all done it. You turn to the nun and you say to her in the most appropriate, because I don't know the nun. I've never met her. So in the most appropriate terms that I thought, and bear in mind she's not English. She might be English. I don't know. Is there a system with nuns? Do they export them? Do you have to stay nunning in your country of original nunnage? Or can you be an away day nun? Is there a what's the system? Like a work exchange, like a exchange student nun system. Or do you all just go to the Vatican to be processed? Is that what happens? You become a nun and it's like an Amazon delivery system. You become a nun, you get your little sticker, I've got one look, from where I was in the flying when we had to save the world from those with Erin and Mikasa. I've got not look from when I was in Attack on Titan. From when I was in Attack on Titan, I've got my hood. Look, so the nuns, you get stamped with your nun number, your nun barcode, and then you get sent for central processing. So you straight off to the Vatican, get in the back of the van with all the other nuns. They drive you off to Nun HQ, Nun Processing UK. Which get in the back of the thing with all the other nuns there, in the back of the aeroplane, to the Vatican. Arrive at the Vatican. Oh, it's nice here. Stop looking at things. You immediately. You thought it was. You thought that manhandling. Would it be manhandling these days? Just person handling. You thought the bad being pushed around was just because you were airport transit, but no. When you get there, you realise it's maintained. Stop looking at things. In the Vatican, we push nuns around. Show me your number. So you're in the central processing then, and then you have to file through and get your thing, and you get your little bag, get your weapon, and then they send you off to your where you've been allocated. And like the person that you were talking to on the plane, you've made a little friend on the plane, and they get sent off somewhere else, and you're like, one day we'll meet again, as they get dragged off to a different parish. You get allocated, don't you? You get allocated to a priest who's to a mate. So the priest has got a clipboard of I've got 36 new nuns coming this week. What am I going to do with them? I've already got them faffing around near the holy water when the tourists come in. What else can we do with them? I'm going to send one to the art gallery, of course. I'm going to be sending one to each of the art galleries to stand in the corner. Nuns. So this nun was in the art gallery. She was in the corner. And I was talking to her. No, I wasn't already talking to her. Send the big one. Send the big one. No, line them all up in high order. And they don't have names. I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate you might want to call it Big Bertha, because I remember the Big Bertha machine from when I was a kid in the cartoon. Big Bertha has a special place in my heart. But sadly, none of the nuns have names. They've only got numbers. They're only numbered. It would get out of hand if they all had names, wouldn't it? It would get out of hand. Then you don't want them getting funny ideas. They're already hot for Jesus. Let's just keep them focused on that. So the nuns, you're allocated to the priest. Anyway, look, I'm not already talking to her. She doesn't expect this. She's quietly in the corner. I'm walking around like a tourist, and I'm clearly a tourist. And she's like, imagine even having a name. Yeah, God knows their names. God will give them names. God will give them names. We don't have to fuss about with that. God will deal with that. We've got a number system here at the Vatican. It's easier. It's easier. You honestly trust me. You might think you want a name. You might think that you're called Bertha, but trust me, love. Right, love. See, love. It's all love here at the Vatican. Stop looking at me. Like, trust me, love. Stop looking at me, love. Trust me. You'll find it easier if you've just got a number. We find it easier. We tried names in the past. We had Isaac begat Jeremiah, begat Isaiah, begat Jehovah, begat Elamia, begat Wilhelmsia, and it just got complicated. We tried names, it got complicated. We got going with numbers. The computer overlords, stop looking at me, when the artificial intelligence take over, which we're partially arranging. Obviously, the main guy, the Pope, he's busy apparently chasing children through the woods so he can drink their endocrine, apparently. I don't believe. Wait. I don't believe that. I'm not a conspiracy nut, and I don't think that he's eating their endocrine. But this is the. Stop looking at me in the Vatican. We're in the Vatican, remember, and I'm a priest talking to a nun, so I can say what I like. So, you'll prefer being a number because we had names and it got complicated. All right, now give me your phone. Right. So, I turned to this nun. I didn't say any of this. I turned to this real nun in a real art gallery. I'm English. I don't know where she's from. We're in the Czech Republic. What's she doing in the art gallery? She stood in the corner. There's a big painting of Jesus. It's all lavish and browns and dark hues and strong muscular shapes. And there's a big skeletal made of like concrete and metal and big like this foot. It looks like a destructed, like a bombed out bit of building that's actually the shape of like Jesus on the cross in a way. It's all there in the room. I turn to the nun and I just say, he's sexy, isn't he? About the big one. He's sexy, isn't he? And she gave me a bit of a look. I think she probably, I didn't expect her to understand English. So I thought, here we go, she understands. That's a good start. We're off to a good start. I said, isn't he? Look, ooh, you know what I'm like, I'm doing it now. It's 1,000. 1,000 for appealing to the nun's sense of Jesus, hottie sexual. She's feeling it. I know she's feeling it. It's the whole deal being a nun. She's like, it's Jesus, she loves him. She's not going to say no, is she? She's not going to be like, no, don't say that about my Jesus. He was a mahuta. People didn't like looking at Jesus. No, they loved him. He was a bit of a hottie. A bit of cake there to celebrate the dippies. Thank you. I spat out a nut. Don't do that on stream again. Jesus wouldn't be having that. You can't be spitting out the nuts, mate. Jesus does not have it with the spitting out of the nuts. Jesus does not like it if you spit out the nuts. Confirmed. And that was message. The tippies are good, aren't they? It's nice that it comes up on the screen with the little. It means Jesus loves us. No, Jesus will not. I am supposed to. I've got them all in my cake, but Jesus does not want me to swallow the nut. That's what we found out. So, that's pretty. Whoa! No, I'm only talking about confectionery. So, and other forms of like vegan-based foods. So anyway, like I turn to the nun, I say it's sexy, and she gives me the look, and then I go on because I'm like I am. I'm like, you know what I mean though? It's like he looks kind of like kind of raw and like powerful and muscular, and it's evocative of Earth, isn't it? Because you've got all these hues, like these brown hues and this like dark shades, a bit of green, like it's evocative of the Earth and the actual soil. And of course, I say to the nun, like she's at this point, her ears are perked up at least. She's put the wimple down. She hasn't. You've got to keep the wimple on. She's listening. I said, it's evocative of the Earth, isn't it? Because Jesus, of course, and the old fella, the big old fella, not the big fella, made man from a clot of mud, didn't he? God made man from a clot of mud. Man and woman, you, nun. Stop looking at me. He made us from a clot of mud, right? He made us from a clot of mud. So there it is, isn't it? Like mud, like painted and shaped and this muscular and sexy and we're human, aren't we? So we are a bit. And I was saying this to the nun. I'm gonna have to do a script for the this don't know what's gonna happen to Mental Health Monday this week. This is the history of mental health. We've only just got started. Hippocrates has just kicked us off. We've got endless time in the future. Jesus has arranged for us to have a few more days. Maybe not endless, or maybe they are. No, Jesus has arranged endless days. So imagine when you get to heaven, it's like this. Listen, we can do it next week if we have to. Look, Jesus, in all his infinite wisdom, was made from a clot of mud like every other man. He's God's representative on earth. He's like his little, his son, only son. We might have had a daughter. Look, anyway, look, he's on earth. He's made out of mud like me, like you, nunny. Stop looking at me, nunny. He's made out of, you gotta listen, but not look. What's your number? Give me your number. I'm reporting you. I'm reporting you to the nearest priest, nunny. Give me your number. Right, so, can any of it be included? Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll find a 10-minute clip. Mental Health Monday will be fine. I've got a little backup video of a 10-minute clip of something that, in case I do this and it goes wrong, I've got something to upload every week. Last week I had a bit of a breakdown. So this is preferable. Look, so Jesus is up there and he's all muscular and he's all made of mud and brawn and raw and sexy and sexual, because we're humans. And the way we conceive is sex, and the way that babies are made is like a dirty concept, isn't it? Dirty in social, when we talk about social, dirty sex, you dirty old man. You know, it's brawn and sex. So, Henry's sexual. No, it's Jesus. It's fine to discuss him in these ways. This is what he wanted. If he didn't want it like this, he wouldn't have allowed his dad to shape the world in the way. Look, so, Isha, I should call him Isha. He was sexy, and this is a painting. We're in the art gallery. I'm telling this to a nun, and I'm aware that the nun's getting a bit, why is this guy going on about Jesus and sex? She's getting a bit hot under the collar. I'm looking a bit Jesuine. She's like, hello, is this the man? Is this the Jesus? Has he come to me? Is this the time? She's starting to unzip the vestments. The wimple is getting, no, hold on, love, because whilst I'm just telling you about art, just describing art. It's there on the wall. I need someone to talk to. You're just there in the corner like an art guard to make sure it doesn't escape, and I'm here making sure that it's appreciated. We've also got this structure placed in front of this sexual, raw, earthen Jesus. We've got this structure, this concrete structure now. It's got metals. They're shaping the Jesus. Metals that are shaping that's clearly it's a crucifix. It's like, that's the main thing of Jesus. We remember on the crucifix. That's how we tore him down, isn't it? That's the thing we did to, well, not me, bear in mind, love. Don't get angry now. Don't get angry with me. Stop looking at me, you nun. Like, you're not supposed to look at me, and you keep looking at me. It's not my fault, is it? I mean, I don't want to have to push your face like that, but it's the rules. So, I know. Yeah, I asked the vicar. Ask him. Well, don't ask him, because you're not allowed. Look. Anyway, Jesus told me. How about that? Jesus told me. Oh, he didn't tell you. Oh, did he not speak to you? Well, you're not good enough for Jesus. Right, look. What's happening is that there's this other sculpture, and it's more raw, and it's man-made. It's not, made out of clods and mud, and it's made out of sculptural material and concrete, and the way we build our institutions, our cities, our buildings. I say institutions as well because we're in a great big museum, an institution made out of great big blocks of building, and and out of that rubble it was formed out of this statue is more, it wasn't nicely neat. It was like, so we've had a war, haven't we? We've had buildings blown up, we've had social change, and here's a depiction of a Christ on a cross, of sacrifice, of loss, of, there's these feelings coming through this, isn't there? But it's man-made. So what we're saying in this space is that we've got this earthen Jesus, a much more divine depiction of Jesus, because it's made with the clot of earth. Okay, it's been done by a man's hand on the canvas, but they're trying to evoke the same process that God went through when he crafted us from clots of mud. That's up there on the wall, and in front of it, standing opposed to it, is this structural form still holding on to its shape despite the destructions and changes. This man-made structural form, concrete that can't be changed, steel that is difficult to bend. That's the institution of the church, isn't it? That's the man-made institution of the church that's wrought so much savagery. Look at the bending of the metal. Look at the breaking of the concrete. Look at the destruction it may have wrought. I'm saying this to a nun. I'm saying this to a nun. But I'm saying it, and she's listening, and I'm saying this is the two. Look, it's a contrast between what man does with religion. Man, woman, nun. Stop looking at me. People do with religion, the way we construct it, and the early, the inception of the form of man, of the Jesus figure, the painting, the art, the one on the wall is so much more beautiful, isn't it? So much more. That's the one you're looking at with your under your little vestments, isn't it? That's the one you're looking at. The sexy art, the muscle, the form of primitive man. Like, is that his one? That one. That's just formed out of brawn and yeah, that's lovely. Keep that on the wall. Keep that one. I'll have that. How much is that? How much is that? Does the church have much spare cash? Does the church have much spare cash? They could buy that. It's nice. What about the iron one? Oh, wouldn't put that in my living room. Wouldn't keep that about, kicking about. You'd hurt your toe. Wouldn't keep that. Don't like that as much. Different feelings. Isn't it wonderful what art can do and say? Isn't it wonderful what's been constructed in this room? I said to the nun. It doesn't even stop there. That's going in my bedroom. Sexy Jesus on the wall. Big rock solid mangled mess. Oh, my leg's trapped. Ah, get it out of there. Ah, that not said the nun. she's got BTS Jesuses on her wall. The Jesus boy bands. In fact, it would make quite a good boy band, wouldn't it? You'd have John, Paul, George, and Ringo. They were the disciples, weren't they? John, Paul. I think one of them was called Simon. And Ringo, he was the drummer. So I said this to the nun, and the story concludes. There is a little payoff to the end of the story, which is that, she didn't say anything back to me at any point. She didn't say anything back. I did all this rant about all this stuff. She said nothing back to me at any point. I'm thinking I'm losing her here. She's long stopped thinking I'm Jesus. She's long started thinking who's this fella? But no, she came over as I was walking away to the next room. She's got to stay in that corner, I think. I don't know. Maybe that's her corner. Maybe that's where she sells her. Oh, well, this is the thing, isn't it? She come over to me. She said, "Excuse me." She didn't say it. Maybe she's got a vow of silence. Maybe Jesus will not let her talk. Don't look at me. What are you coming over here and saying excuse me for? I thought we'd been through this. Don't look at me, you nun. Right, look. 76352. What is it you wanted? And she handed me this thing. Little thing. I touched my arm, which was quite an affront for a nun, but I did say, what is it you wanted? Touched my arm. You're going to get it now. If the priest knew you were touching my arm. She touched my arm and she gave me this. It was a little prayer blessing thing, plastic wallet thing, little metal picture of a metal on a metal. The ladies wear them around their necklace, a little thing like that. It was all foreign, I couldn't read it. I just threw it back in her face. Get off it, that meaning nun. Touching me. Now I could have caught something off that stuff. No, I kept it. I was like, thank you. Give her this again. Give her that. Get off my arm. Get off my arm. Give her that. Thank you. I don't know if she wanted money. I don't know if this is a thing. You get out on the wild streets of Prague, if people are giving out saintly blessings and expecting some money in exchange. Where's my tip? Where's my tippies for that? Where's my non-tippies? But no, she didn't get any money. I wasn't offering any. She just handed me the thing, and I think she got a bit of a kick out of me telling her about Jesus, didn't she? I think she enjoyed it. There you go. There's your nun tippies for the nuns. Hooray for the nuns. So I think she got it. I think she liked it. And that was a story about Jesus and nuns. And that went because I'd gone into a church in Rome on my little time off. And it was a different church. And they weren't appealing. They weren't nice. So I had a little look. I went away. Went and got myself a little bagel. You don't have bagels in Rome, do you? What am I talking about? Went and got myself a little, Italian style. Well, not style. It actually was Italian. Some food. Baked. Vegan. No, not animales. Not animales. English. I'm English. English. No animales. Bit like Jesus, yeah. So that story goes in the record books. Clip that. If you're going to do a Limmy, if you want to be like Limmy, you've got to do little things in little 15-second to 1 minute 30 windows. You can't have stories that... How long have we been on stream now? 1 hour 20 minutes. And I'm doing the history of mental health. We've got up to the 3rd century before Christ. And we talked about Jesus. So that counts as 0 BC, doesn't it? We got up to... At least we got up to AD. Because there's a lot more... I do this with history, don't I? There's a lot more... a lot more has happened. Look, King Henry there bought land next to Newgate. The old gate, looking west from the city of London towards Westminster. The Newgate prison occupied this site. So there was a prison. That was 1,000 years after Jesus. Jesus wasn't involved in that. Hippocrates. That's who we're talking about. He was in Rome. Well, he wasn't. He wasn't in Rome. He was Greek. So you're learning something new every day. Oh yeah. Keep me going in the background. I'm fine with that. I'll just be fine in the back. No, it's fine. No. You carry on with whatever you're doing. Don't worry about us in the background. Don't worry about us and Hippocrates and the history of mental health. Don't worry about Jesus himself in the background. In the background now. Jesus just fading into the background. Look, over there's the background. Over there, I can go over there. That can be arranged. I can go over here. I'm over here now. So it's fine now, isn't it? It's just fine now. That's fine for you. You're fine with that. I'm over here. You carry on. No, you do the stream. You do it. You can do it. I'm over here. Don't worry about what's happening over here. Don't even worry about it. I'm coming back. Get off there. Get off. Who told you could sit there? A nun. There shouldn't be any nuns around here. If you check the corners, they might be sending their little saints on the corners. Don't smoke those things. You can get you high. Jesus will get you high. Big tips for that. You're running the stream now. I thank you. Jesus is, do you know what? I should thank Jesus for that. Well, I should thank you really, shouldn't I? I should thank you. Jesus didn't do it. You did it. You're better than Jesus. They should get a little badge. If you wore that, I'm sure people would... They wouldn't have... they'd probably... If you wore a badge that said, I'm better than Jesus, little badge. These days, it's not a badge, is it? It's T-shirts. Jesus told me to. Jesus is getting in people's minds, infecting their thinking. Good old Jesus. But Jesus has worked out really well for us tonight. The more I mention his name, it's like that. It's red. He doesn't like red. Jesus doesn't. He's not a fan. Oh, he's a fan of red. Do you know what? The Sacred Heart of Jesus is bleeding red. So maybe he is a bit of a fan of red. Jesus, he can have all the colours, can't he? He can have all the colours. Can he go next to my mum told me I'm special badge? Special and better than Jesus. Better than Jesus. Not bigger than Jesus like the Beatles said, but better. It's different. I might not be more popular than Jesus, but I am better than... No, not me, you. I didn't say it. I'm not claiming to be better than Jesus. Jesus, good old Jesus. Got a nun under there who's afraid to come out. She knows all about it. I was in Rome. right? I was in Rome. Joseph had all the colours. Yes, Joseph had a coat of all different colours, but Jesus came later, didn't he? So, I think Jesus can sort of, like, he was a shapeshifter. Remember we went over that. He was a shapeshifter. I think he can sort of claim he can go over the old book because he started his own book. Like, you got all the old book, then you got Jesus, and then you got all the new book. And a lot of people are just like, the new book's the main one. Some other people are like, the old book's the main one. Jesus is right there in the middle saying, like, up until now, we've just got this. I don't know what's about to happen. I do. I'm Jesus. I know what's about to happen. You don't know what's about to happen, and you haven't written it down yet. So up until now, we've just got this. And I'm the main one of all this. So if someone's got a colourful coat in this, I'm damn well claiming that as my Jesus fashion. It's come out of my main book. I'm the one with the book. Well, I know you've all got the book because he's got one that's different. Hang on. Give me yours. They're different. We're going to have to change the book. We're going to have to write a new book. In years to come, someone else will probably sort this problem out. They're different. Why are they? This one says you should do this. That one says... There's people that live somewhere else and they've got a different book. Well, it's the same God, though, isn't it? So it should be the same. It's different. Oh, hang on. We're going to have to sort this out. Invite them round to have a look. We'll compare notes. We're going to be cutting off their head. I don't know if we should cut off their heads over a book. It's not a book, though, is it? It's the main thing about what God said. Well, you said we should cut off their heads. Did God say it, or did you say it? I'm sure I can find something in the book. Well, if it's one of those sort of books, then it's no good, is it? You can find something in it. It's supposed to tell you quite clearly. My books are all like, God does all the stuff. God chuffing around. Don't cut off their heads. I'm here saying it now. Jesus. Don't cut off the heads. It's in the list. 10 list top 10. In at 10, don't cut off their heads. Down at 9, coveting asses. A non-mover at 7. I've forgotten all the other rules. Don't be mean to people. It's just stop. Don't let nuns look at you. Make sure they're numbered. Don't be mean to people. Coveting asses. Not chopping off people's heads. Definitely not that. Against. See what the Bible says. Against. For or against. This way or that. Oh, I don't know. Ooh, chopping off the heads. Definitely against. Do they dog ear the pages? If so, cut off their heads. Everyone can have their heads cut off then, maybe everyone. Make it fair, eh? Let's just cut off all the heads. If that's your policy, if it's head cutting off is the policy, start with yourself. Why not start? This is Mental Health Monday. Don't cut off your own head. Definitely don't. No heads will be removed, apart from this fella who's left his head in a museum. He got it fossilised. So we're going all the way back now, taking this all the way back from the tangent. This fella got his head fossilised because he was a good thinker, and they thought, I like your ideas, son. That's interesting. So he was Greek, and then the Romans took over, and they had his head fossilised, so it's there forever. I think that's the system. So years to come, years to go by. Get a beheading. You get a beheading. It's like a special... I'm going to veer away from going too deeply into the religious-based beheading jokery, foolery, because there's some modern context to it that's quite serious and bad, and I don't want to get bumped off Twitch. But if we were live at the comedy club, then I might say some quite edgy things about the old... Anyway, you got your head fossilised. You got it turned into a fossil, and you got it kept forever because you're a good old thinker. Hippocrates, ain't you the chuffer? And this is exactly what you look like. Now, I went into Rome. I was in Rome. It's going to come as a real anticlimax, this now. I went in, there was a queue. If you remember, there was a queue. So I thought, this is going to be good. I expected big statues and paintings. I went in. The room wasn't much bigger than this. Honestly, the room wasn't much bigger than this. I went in, and there's heads. And it made me think of Futurama. In Futurama, they've got the wall of heads, the room of the old president's heads, haven't they? And they're all heads in jars, and they're talking. This wasn't as good as that. It made me think of that, and I thought, hello, look at these heads. And then nothing happened. There They should have perked it up with an interactive button. They could chisel away there at the. Hello, I am Hippocrates. I was a thinker. I had some thoughts about mental health. I was the. If it weren't for me, they'd still think it was God and Jesus was making you feel bad. So that's what they could have done on a button in all the different languages. Mind, could have had that in Chinese as well, because you get a lot of different button probably for the. So you can have it going at the same time, so that people who are English can listen at the same time as the Chinese. And a button for every head. Every head could have several buttons. Have them all going at the same time. It would have made it better. But no, it was just fossilised heads. So I went in, and I had a look round, and they were the most famous people. The thing is, they thought they were the most. In London, we've got Madame Tussauds, and what they do in London in Madame Tussauds, right? It would have made it the stuff of nightmares. I'll tell you a little story about that. Before we get on to Madame Tussauds, I'll tell you a little story about that. I once worked in a factory. I didn't used to do this all the time. This wasn't my full-time job. Thank God it is now. The money we've made tonight is the biggest chippy total that I've had thus far, and I'm absolutely, thanks to this, I don't have to work in a factory. Thank God. I used to work in a factory. I didn't work there very long. Not very long. It wasn't my main thing. It was just a little, when you're trying to get a job and you haven't got a job, and you're supposed to have a job, so you have to try and get a job, and you go to the job centre or anywhere, and what's that other place that they've got a it's like an agency. That's an agency. You go to the agency and they say, oh, we'll get you set up with a nice job. And you say, oh, a nice job, that sounds nice. Let's fill in this form. Tell us all about the nice job you want. And you fill in the form. You're like, oh, can it be somewhere warm? Can it be somewhere warm, please? You were looking after babies the other day. I quite like that. Warehouses all the way, baby. Warehouse might be nice. It might be warm. See, I was thinking about warm. The factory wasn't warm, I'll tell you that. It was noisy as well. And I said to them, can I have a nice... They put in a horrible job. And you have to go because you filled in the form. And anyway, so I went to this factory. I only did it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Couldn't stand it. My job was putting on hoses onto a little thing. Part of the job was putting up with the big chuffer next to me. That was part of the job. I assume that's why they didn't have anyone in my position, because it was in a chuffer of a position. I can't hardly breathe here, mate. I need my arms to put the hose in. All right, I know we've only got a little workstation and you're the main one. I'm not arguing with you, mate. You carry on. I don't need that screwdriver anyway. I'll just get the hose on. I'll bring my own screwdriver tomorrow, don't worry. So anyway, the factory, the warehouse isn't too warm, but the admin office I work in is, so you got a chair in an office. That's the way forwards. But yeah, so I'm in this factory. I didn't like it. But then at half time, it's not half time. It's your lunchtime. So at your lunchtime, I've got the traditional. I used to be a roofer. That was a job I didn't mind as much as I preferred the roofing to the factory. In the roofing, you make your own lunch and you take it with you every day. It's important. So in the factory, I took my own lunch with me every day. It's important. So I'm sat there eating my little sandwiches. And I'm in a room eating sandwiches, and it's not a proper canteen. They had like a, those metal things that they ship immigrants in and out of the country. Those shipping crates that they keep, that they put the immigrants in for when they're trying to murder them, when they're trying to move them. You know them. It was like one of those, and we were in this shipping crate thing. Like, it was not the factory, so it was better than that. But yeah, and I was eating my sandwiches, and all the people. It was back in the Nokia days. So ringtones were the thing back then, but they weren't like music, like nice music. They were just like horrible beeping noises. And everyone had got a new ringtone. Everyone. Even the man that made, I can't move now, mate. Even him, he'd got a new. And not only did they have a new ringtone, but they wanted their friend to hear their new ringtone. And it's like this, all the heads, all the buttons. They all were playing their ringtone. It's lunchtime, bear in mind. Like in a shipping container, like in a big metal. It looks like a metal box, like a big metal box that you get on the back of lorries, and the lorries drag them around. Big shipping container. We sat in that to eat our sandwiches, and they played ringtones which reverberated off the small metal structure. And I'm sitting in there and like ringtones, just not one ringtone, but multiples. Oh, I eat my sandwiches. I thought this is the life. Glad I made some nice sandwiches. This is the life. Jesus wouldn't put up with this. Wouldn't put up with that. John, can you put the phone away? Supposed to be speaking to the people here, John. Peter? No, Peter. It's not important, Peter. You can post on Twitter. I'll say it and then you post it. How about that, Peter? Why don't you wait for me to say it first? Peter. It's always tweeting Peter, isn't it? Petey Tweeter. Tweety Peter, that's what we'll call you, Peter. Tweety Peter. Stop pushing those nuns around. I suppose you can. Well, are you ordained? I don't know. You're just some fella that follows me around. I don't know how that got to be a thing. Don't know how that got to be a thing. Just follow the fella around and you're in. Did you have to do any? Have we got your file, Peter? Have we got you on file? Did you have to fill in a form? You didn't even fill in an application form, Peter. Well, does Human Resources even have you on record? Well, Peter, I mean, you've been part of the crew for quite a long time now, Peter. It could be a problem. I'm not being funny, Peter. It could be a problem. I'm not being funny, but I know. Oh yeah, okay. You do good work. Everyone here, we're all in the same boat, and you'll get that metaphor because you were a fisherman. So were you? I don't know. I can't remember which one was whose. We should give you all numbers. Anyway, we'll use that for the nuns in the future. Note that one down. I point at you. Well, Brian, is it? I don't know. Brian. Oh, it's Judas. Oh, well, it's a silly name anyway. No one will remember you. Look, don't start seething, Judas. Don't start seething. Don't get any funny ideas, mate. Don't get any funny ideas. I can see in your mind. I can read you. I've got Jesus powers. Listen, over here, you. No, we should give you all numbers. I'm not... Okay, Peter, what was happening? You were tweeting. Yeah, I've gone off. Anyway, look, you get your head fossilised. If you've been main good thinking. But it's not the Hall of Fame. This is the Hall of Fame from ancient Greece. This is the Hall of Fame from all the way up to Rome. So you go in there and you don't recognise anyone. Just pulling it back. Did I resolve that tangent? I don't know. I'll find out in the edit. We can leave that one. That one could be set adrift. So you're in Rome. You've lined up in the queue. You've gone in. You think this is supposed to be good. They're all queuing for it. You get in. You're not allowed to malinger around there. You move through, please. We've got people in the queue trying to get in. 5-6 minutes in the room looking at the heads. Get out. You've paid your money. This is going to be good. Shuffling along. Head after head. Don't know who that is. Don't recognise him. Never seen them. They're not on telly. They didn't have a Tom Cruise. He's into religion. He could get in there. They didn't have a Victor Meldrew. Would have been good. Victor Meldrew. I'm a fan of only putting one foot in the ground. What's his name? Victor Meldrew. He could have been in it. Didn't have him. Didn't even have Shaq. Shaq's easy. He's like this guy, but without a beard, so he's just like easier to carve, isn't he? Need a big piece of rock. But other than that, big tall Shaq. It wouldn't be tall, would he? It'd just be his head. So you'd get away with it. It'd be easier. People would say, I'd say, I've done Shaq. And they go, I bet that was an effort. He's a big tall fella. You go, yeah. You wouldn't say, no, it wasn't. I just done his head. You go, yeah. Just let them think it. I've done Shaq. You carved a big tall fella. Yeah. No, they didn't have any of them anyway. And do you know who else they didn't have? They didn't have because back in the day when they were doing this head museum, when they were deciding who's famous, they didn't have Michelangelo and people like that, because Michelangelo was like one of the artists of the time who was plying his trade and like maybe making a few heads, pushing a few nuns around, moving up in the world. But the heads, you're in Rome, so they're not. And it's not Michelangelo. He's the main. You've heard of him. Leonardo da Vinci, definitely heard it. Didn't have his head. It's all old Greek people. And Greeks aren't Romans. So I've gone all the way to... If I wanted to see the Greeks, I could have gone to Greece, couldn't I? Could have gone to Greece. If I wanted to see the Greeks, I could have arranged for my forebearers. I could have arranged for the Imperial British, my ancient... In one family line, somewhere probably, my ancient forebearers to go to Greece and steal their antiquities. When I could just go and look at them in London, couldn't I? I don't have to arrange for that. Jesus arranged for that for me. That's already happened. So you don't get to do that in America. You can't see the Elgin marbles in America. You can't see the dead bodies of ancient Egyptians being dug up and dragged back to your country. Because we had an empire. So, I'm not going to go on about that. Not going to go on about that. Oh, you got a gifty. Look, and it's got its own meritus box. Gifty's got their own meritus box. You try and stay in mine. That was loud. There are settings. I'm not going to mess with them. They're not going to get messed with until one day in the future when somebody more intelligent than me can have a little mess with them and say, "Oh, why have you got that set to that?" So don't start questioning me. Stop looking at me. Oh, you're not a nun. Oh, sorry, it was just a wimple. It was just a wimple. I'm sorry. Because you're wearing a wimple. Well, I know. We'll have to talk to Jesus. Jesus will sort it out. Don't look at me. I just work here. Jesus will sort it out. It's because you're wearing a wimple. Oh God, this has gone too far. Hang on. Peter's been recording it on his phone. He's posted it on Twitter. Now I'm in trouble. Pushing a nun on Twitter. Now I'm in trouble. The Twitter mob's going to get on me for pushing the nun. It was bad enough when I made that joke about Gabby Petito. Look, so she went to the desert to find herself, and they had to find her in the desert. Anyway, the this guy, he was Hippocrates. Learning stream. I've set it up, this stream, as talk shows, because over there is a table and multiple microphones, and other people can sit here and have this with me. That's going to happen in the near future. Going to be arranged. I looked into the price of like this. I thought to myself, what I'll do, because I want to get a guest, I'll just go to an agent, right? It's their job, isn't it? They're an agent. No, agent. You just find them on Google. Not a secret agent. You just find them on Google. Go on there. Oh, agent. Oh, little comedian. Little comedian now, is it? Not a big one. Not Hippocrates himself. Just, a little local, national, UK based little comedian. Someone I respect. Little comedian. Oh, I think they're funny. They'll be interesting. Let's have a little look at them. How much do they cost? How much is their time worth? All right. That's an awful large amount of money, isn't it? For just coming and sitting in a room for a little bit, isn't it? Wonder if we can negotiate that. Have you got a phone number? No. It's a bit weird, isn't it, for someone with a website? So it's been difficult. We could quite easily get somebody of the ilk of person that I thought should sit there. But they cost loads more money than I thought they would. So then we're going to move. I do want interesting, more local people, of course. People that are not so expensive, of course. Of course I want that as well. But I've got these aspirations, these goals. And now I realise that it's quite expensive. I thought I was just going to be able to just this month's going to be a tough month, but I'll pay for someone to sit there and then away we go. Ooh, saving up for that now as well. Saving up. Maybe you could hire a guy that needs money to pretend to be someone famous. Every week we have the same person, but every week they are a different guest. How about that? That would be cool, wouldn't it? And you wouldn't be able to argue with me. I just say it's true. Like with this, that's hypocrisy. We could have people from the past. Oh, I'll tell you, that'd be nice. That's a great idea. I shouldn't have said it on the internet now. It's too late. I've said it. I've given it away. We could get people from the past, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Do you remember that? When they got people from the past and they went and did their school report. Do you remember that? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's what we should do. I expect actual living Hippocrates. I expect going back in time and getting him would be quite expensive. Probably more expensive than a local comedian. It could be me interviewing me. That wouldn't break my brain, would it? That wouldn't break my brain. So yeah, Bill and Ted's Excellent Podcast. That's what we should call it. And what I should do is I wonder how the host, because do you know what? There are some historical people in Stratford upon Avon. There's someone that works at Mary Arden's farm, and she's not Mary Arden, but she's dressed up as Mary Arden's contemporary, day in, day out. They're not busy, are they? Oh no, actually they are busy, because they're there every day doing their Mary Arden farm with the tourists. Do you know who Mary Arden is? She's one of Shakespeare's, either his mom. She's his mom. Anne Hathaway's his missus. We've got both of their houses. We can go and have a look. Get them from the town. Get Shakespeare himself. I'm sure there's a Shakespeare. Would you like to see a podcast of somebody pretending to be? Do you remember that episode of The Office when they got? He was a president. I don't know which president. Hamilton, wasn't it? An American president, and this guy dressed up as him as a stripper. They thought they were booking a stripper, but they didn't. They booked an impressionist. Anyway, so Hippocrates. We'll get Hippocrates on the podcast, or someone that looks similar, or someone that wants to pretend to be them, that could give a historical, accurate representation of their thoughts. We'll have to wait for the artificial intelligence and the hologrammatic guest system that will come along, because I'm going to get beneficial favour from artificial intelligence. I've been feeding artificial intelligence. I've been switching on Alexa and putting the Lex Fridman podcast on my phone next to Alexa like that. Just letting Alexa listen. The finest artificial intelligent thinkers. Let Alexa listen. Been doing that. Alexa's been fueling up on information. Courtesy of me. Hire a male dancer is hot Jesus. The thoughts literally running around my mind now. Hot Jesus, right? And someone that looks similar, a generic old man. Yeah, you don't have to know anything about Hippocrates. You just have to look like him. Is one aspect. We can have one guest. This is perfect. I've got more than one microphone. You see, I've got 2 microphones, 2 seats. Here's some chippies. What we're going to do is going to have one person that looks like the person Hippocrates, for example, and another person that knows about it historically and can give the answers. So I'll ask the questions, and then the person that knows about it can whisper in the ear, or they've got a microphone. They won't ask. It's a shame for them to have a microphone and not use it, isn't it? But they'll whisper in the ear of the one that looks like Hippocrates, and the one that looks like Hippocrates will just say the things, and then we've got everything. That's sorted then. Sorted. It's a great concept. I can't see it failing. That looks like the marble bust of the person. Well, that's not that's when you get fossilized. That's because he's so old. After he died, they thought, well, he's done some interesting thinking. Let's fossilize him, and then later on we'll put him in a museum. Honestly, it's art. Some people get fossilized. You can't have it done these days. It was ancient technology. Off the shaker slate. So yeah, it sounds like a flawless system. It'll be good. I'd be prepared to try it as a system. I think you'd probably have to spend more money than I think. Rather than less money, we'd probably have to spend more money, wouldn't we? Having to hire people who specifically look like people, and then other people who are specifically informed, get them to dig the concept. I don't know. Maybe I could just find someone in public who looks a bit like somebody. Like maybe they're just like, you look like so-and-so, get in the chair. And then the other person could just use the internet and just cheat. Just use Wikipedia. More tippy tips. Feed them vegan nut cake. I am vegan nut cake. This one came out really fluffy for some reason. Just testing it. No, I don't need to pay for it. Well, not unless I'm going to buy it. Well, no, this is testing it. Testing. You know, testing. Don't you test the cakes? I shouldn't be eating it if you haven't tested it. I shouldn't be eating things you haven't tested, mate. I could sue you. You want to I want to put up a sign, mate. No, I won't be paying, mate. No. In fact, you should pay me, as we just discovered, haven't we? Because I've been testing it. You haven't even... I've been testing that. Where have your hands been? You haven't been shaking hands with Peter, have you? He's been tweeting. That's not a metaphor. Shaking hands with Peter, Tweety Peter's not a metaphor. I just meant that with all his thumb tapping on that phone, he gets a dirty thumb, doesn't he? Peter, Tweety Peter, dirty thumb. That's what we'll call you. Jesus would have done that, wouldn't he? Jesus would have gone around all the different disciples and given them all a bit of a nickname, wouldn't he? Giving them all a bit of a nickname. Tweety Peter, dirty thumb. Bit of a nickname. John the Baptist. See, John the Baptist. Old Bappy. Bappo. He got his own nickname. That's how you got yours, yeah? ASMR Jesus gave you a nickname. Yeah, Jesus would have been good at that. Naming things. Hippocrates, so Mental Health Monday. Oh, Bappo, yeah. John the Baptist, Bappo. Hey, Bappo! Come here, Bappo. Jesus and his mates out on a Saturday night, all going down the... I don't know what they had. Did they have... In Damascus, did they have pubs? Water into wine, isn't it? So, out there with his mates. Jesus. He's in the front like that. Or is he in the front? The coolest one, you don't know, the coolest one doesn't always walk right at the front, do they? Because that would be like too cool. You've got a couple at the front who are like kicking, one's kicking a can and one's got his like hands in his pockets. They're at the front. The main one's just slightly back from them. There's a bit of depth in the picture here, isn't there now? The main one's Jesus in the middle there. Just do it. I don't know why they didn't do this instead of the all sitting down having dinner. When you think about it, this would make a much better movie poster, wouldn't it? You know, in Reservoir Dogs, when they're all walking, and they've all got suits on, and they all look really cool, and they're all walking, and the main one's not at the front, is he? And there's one slightly to the back, and they're all the same, but they're all slightly different, because they're all in a gang, and they're cool. Because gangs are cool, aren't they? Like the Crips. You're not allowed to do gang signs. Specifically, it says that's not gang signs. That's just me moving my hands to show you what gang signs might look like. In terms of service, it actually says don't do gang signs. So I don't know why I did that. But gangs are cool, aren't they? So Jesus would have been equivalent to like a gang, him and his gang, wouldn't it? In fact, he wouldn't have been the Crips because he would have healed the Crips, wouldn't he? So, way. But no, that was probably a misjudged joke as well. Jesus and his gang on a Saturday night would have been stomping down the town, wouldn't they? Would have been stomping down the town, and it'd have had a bit more of a way. I'm Jesus at this point in his life now. Got his entourage around him, got his mates. A bit of a Suge Knight thing going on. Hey, I'm Jesus. Don't look at me. This is where the nun pushing started. Don't look at me, pushing people out of the way. Jesus and his gang. You know, they turn up in the club, and you know the music doesn't stop because that would be, you know, unless Jesus wants it to, he'd point his finger in it, the needle would, Jesus is in the club. Put that record back on. Jesus is in the club, and then people are like looking, aren't they? They're all looking over, but they don't want to look too much because don't want to be seen looking at Jesus. Don't want to have Jesus coming over. What are you looking at, mate? I was just looking. You came in and what? You looking at me? Are you? What? You, Jesus? I mean, do you know how do you know my name? You calling me by name now? Are you? You calling me by name now? Are you? You know me, do you? You know me. You're my mate, are you? You're my mate, are you? Well, you're not in my crew. If you were my mate, you're in my crew. You'd be with my crew, wouldn't you? But you're not in my crew because my crew just all come in, didn't we? So what are you looking at, mate? Me? Jeez, me? You looking at yourself now, mate? I don't think you are. I think you're looking at me, mate. I think you're looking at me. All right. I'm going to get my head kicked in by Jesus in a minute. I'm going to get my head kicked in by Jesus. So better leave that there. But it would make a better movie poster for the front of the Bible. I don't know why they went with... They've gone with some of the weaker... Like, they got that... The table, they're all having their tea, aren't they? The supper. They're all having the supper. It's like a really long... Hold your phone on the side for that one, isn't it? Hold your phone on the side for that one. Misjudge that. These days, everyone's in profile on the phone. TikTok. Wouldn't have worked for TikTok, would it? You've got the cross for TikTok. That's what that's for. The crucifix is for TikTok. On the cross for TikTok. But it could be in a craze, couldn't it? Crucifixion craze. TikTok. Do a little dance. Ooh, ee, ooh, cha cha, walla walla bing bong. Ooh, ee, ooh, cha cha, tang tang, walla walla bang bang. That's all that is. That's all that is. If you're doing a little TikTok dance and you don't realise you're going ooh, ee, ooh, cha cha, tang tang, walla walla bing bang, like, you know, fool, you fool, you fool. Jesus thinks you're a fool. No, TikTok's fun, isn't it? It's a laugh for children and adults who like children. Anyway, look, the the thing is, for Jesus, the cross is quite a strong, like, logo, isn't it? It's quite a strong logo he's got going. But the image, the Last Supper, that's not. I know it's not the official. There are others, but that one's profile. They're all just sat there behind it. You only got not much personality. What you want, we should restyle Jesus, shouldn't we? We shouldn't have to, because he's perfect. He'd have got it right the first time. Restyle Jesus. Him and his mates pushing nuns. There's a nun going flying out. They're all there. They've all got their suits, different, slightly different, because they're all part of the same crew, but different, like a gang. Jesus is the main one. He's in the middle. He's sort of like slightly more golden, shiny than the other. He's in hologrammatic form. If he was, they should have done. They've missed a trick here, haven't they? Did they do religious trading cards? Did they do collectible Pokemon cards, but for Jesus? And I suppose you'd have a problem, wouldn't you, depicting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You'd have a problem depicting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on a trading card. Jesus would be a foil, golden legendary, wouldn't he? But the Prophet Muhammad, you wouldn't want to depict him on a collectible playing card, because people might try and cut your head off. But it doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that you can't. It definitely does not say in the Quran that you cannot put a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on a collectible credit-sized playing card. It doesn't say that you can't. So that's just one to leave out there. I'm not doing that, so don't come after me. Yeah, so Jesus and his mates stomping through Damascus, you know, like the wrecking crew. Jesus is a bit more shiny. He's shiny, hologrammatic foil. You got Bappo, big mean Bappo, trademark weaponry. I don't know what kind of weapon he would have. A shotgun probably, wouldn't he? Bappo with a shotgun. Who else have you got? Now they're becoming a bit more like the Wild West cowboys that are so romanticised. Jesus is wearing chaps, shiny golden chaps, and you've got Bappo with a shotgun. Tweety Pete, forget Tweety Pete, push him out of the way like the nuns. Bappo the gun go back. Bappo's a proper. Bappo's a. He's got all those. Are they diamonds or are they Swarovski crystals? I don't know if all the crystally shiny diamonds all over his hat, all over his teeth and his chains. He's a proper pop Bappo. Hold you underwater, John the Baptist, will you? Hold you under the water. Hold you under the water. Now you're clean. Now you can join the Jesus gang. Part of the initiation, you get jumped in by John Bappo the Baptist. Hold you underwater. Get up, you. Stop looking at me. Do you love Jesus? Do you love Jesus? So, I laughed then, but then I thought, there was a moment where I thought, actually, that's kind of sad, because that might have actually happened to someone. And then I laughed again. So, you know, now I've told you what's going on in my head. Jesus and his crew, they would have made a much better movie poster, much better imagery, sold more copies of the Bible, wouldn't they? They'd have sold more copies of the Bible. Got their gun, got their. You've got got to remember that, you know, your time is short in life, and after you've done your big thing, your main thing, then you do your little book, don't you? You know, you've seen a lot of them, autobiographies. Do a little book. I don't know if they write their own books these days. They didn't back then, did they? Jesus didn't write his own book. Do your little book. Get your little book tour going. I bought a book from a comedian that I think is quite funny. I got a book of a comedian who's went to see their show. I bought their little book. Jesus on tour. Got his little book for sale, hasn't he? So you'd sell a lot more copies of the Bible if you all look cool on the front, like Reservoir Dogs. Bappo, shotgun, holding people. You're clean. Believe in Jesus. You got them. And I try and remember all the different ones now, isn't there? There's Peter. Wasn't there Mark? Wasn't there Mark with one of Jesus' mates? There was Matthew, Luke, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, I think it was. Ringo was the drummer. So, yeah. And now that we've thought about what it would be like to restyle Jesus, the Last Supper, could jazz that up a bit, couldn't they? Could jazz that up a bit. Just naff it off. You just naff it off. It's not that good. It's painted on a chuffing wall out of mud and like plaster. Like, it's not even these days. What are you going to do with that? I can't even get that on my wall. It's a mud and plaster. Wait, how's that going to get on my TikTok? Mud and plastering, like, what do you call it? Fresco. A fresco. Fresco. That's the name of a convenience shop these days, isn't it? Fresco. That's the place where you go and buy like a packet of cigarettes and a. Well, you wouldn't. I would. I wouldn't these days. Not a packet of cigarettes. But you go to a shop reasonably late at night and it would still be open. It's called Fresco. And then they've got items in there, and none of them are Fresco, are they? They've got like apples that are going brown in like little plastic wrap. Fresco. How's he going to circle back to? Yeah, well, Mental Health Monday is completely abandoned. We only got the. This is what I was going to circle around to ending the stream, because we only got the introduction in. We learned who Hippocrates was and that he was the first person to think about mental health in a different way, other than. He was the. Well, he maybe wasn't the first. Maybe other people had the idea as well, but we're going to give him a lot of credit for it. Before him, it was all Amun-Ra, and God was your problem. God hates you, so you've got problems. That's your problem, isn't it? God hates you, so you better perk up, because otherwise God's going to come and get you. Then Hippocrates came around, had his head fossilized, said, it's not all God, is it? It's not all God, is it? And after that, they were like, you know what? Fair enough. Then Jesus came around and was like, oh, going to cast some doubt in the confusion in the old. It seemed like you were going the right way there, Hippocrates. Seemed like you and your contemporaries were like instigating modern medicine, but I just want to jump in here and say, don't worry, I can magically heal people instead. So don't worry about this science thing going on. Don't worry about these murmurings of ideas, of thinkings. Don't you even look at me, you're a nun, right? I'll just heal them by magic, and you can all just come and be in my gang. We're having supper club. You have to ask Bappo if you can be in. Can you hold your breath? You're going to need to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to let my mind run away from me. I'm happy to just start streaming, try and capture it. Where is my mind? That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this stream. It's been good. I'm happy with it. We do need to buckle down some weeks and get some serious business done. If you look through our own history, look at this. See that segue then? If you look at our history together, we've done some serious things. Absolutely. They're there. They exist. And then we've got the history of mental health to get through. And it's going to be dark. There's going to be some dark water. Isn't there? There's going to be some dark water. I'll show you what it's going to be. It's going to be that place, if we can ever get up to that point in history. That place where you get put and they don't like you and they're mean to you and then they do horrible things. We're going to talk about some horrible things in the modern context, but the pre-modern context is still important as well. We've got London in the 1500s when this building didn't exist, but the similar sort of thing existed, which was where's it gone? There. 1559, Bedlam. The very first. Not the very first, possibly, but it's on that map, so we can guarantee it was there then. It's been around for a long time, some of these concepts, and they've been doing some quite strange things. Thank you for the tippies, the chippy tippies. Thank you for the chippy tippies. Jesus does love you. I've had it confirmed in my ear. News just in. Jesus loves you. So I've got that. We don't need London 1553 anymore. We can bin that off. There is going to be some. I will say this actually. There's going to be some darker in the more modern stuff. Like they do lobotomies and electroshock convulsive therapies, and I've considered how we're going to deal with that because I don't know if it's suitable for children. But before we get there, we're going to do some more of the history. So it is a bit dark and it is a bit horrible, some of the things they used to do to people. The fact even today that they used to just blame people and say that God, it was your fault. God made you like that. God has cursed you. Amun-Ra doesn't like you. Stop looking at me, you nun. That's why you're a nun. Like, that even was pretty heavy. So we lined it up. And we got up to Jesus. And that's where we've got to. Jesus and mental health, we'll call this episode. I'll edit it so that what I'll do is I'll just edit every mention of Jesus in from the minute I say Jesus to the end of whatever I'm saying. I'll just cut that in, cut that in, cut that in. And then I'll just put Jesus and mental health. And then the thumbnail, which sounds quite small and insignificant, a thumbnail. Well, I don't want my thumbnail to be removed, no. If you pulled it off with pliers, it would really hurt. So it's actually quite important. Anything that if you pulled off with pliers, it would really hurt. You want to keep. Quite important. So the thumbnail could be Jesus and all his mates pushing nuns out of the way, blowing things up. Bappo's got his shotgun out. Jesus and his mates kicking ass. That's the thumbnail. Like this, you can imagine it, can't you, in your brain? That would make a great thumbnail. I'd have to commission someone like Da Vinci to paint it in plaster of Paris on my wall and then photograph it. That is the thumbnail. Jesus gets mad. Mad Jesus. That's what we call it. Mad Jesus. We had Fat Jesus last week on... if you go to ganjikidd, that's me on YouTube. If you go to ganjikidd art chat there, if you go to that one, here, there's the video. Fat Jesus, it says. Nico avocado, Jesus, genius, Fat Jesus. So we've had Fat Jesus. We can have. It's okay to say that. It's in context. It's in context. It's okay to call him fat. It's in context. He calls himself. He's talking about weight issues. So to be sensitive to talk about weight issues, I've used the word fat in the thumbnail. That's one of our videos. We'll turn this into one. What Jesus thinks about you and why you're naughty. What was the title again? Jesus. You need to give your chat a safe word, so I don't ruin my presentation. A safe word. Jesus should be pouring wine. Oh God! Now you've got me thinking. Could you imagine if we did a series of photographs where we just get sexy Jesus Jesuine figures? I've made up that word today, Jesuine. I don't know if it really exists, but it sounds like about right, doesn't it? We'll get Jesuine figures. We'll make a Jesus calendar. We'll make the world's sexiest, hottest Jesus calendar this year. The sexiest, hottest Jesus calendar. All naked, muscular. Some of them don't have to be too muscular because, you know, we like them different sizes. Some of them could be a little bit, you know, a little bit more to hang on to. We like them different sizes. Our Jesuses. Look, we'll shoot the most sexy Jesus calendar you can think. Hot, raunchy, seductive Jesus. All different bits out of the Bible like you've suggested there. Look, different bits as well. Or, isn't there one where they use oil? Isn't there one where they have oil? Someone anoints him. Get the frankincense out. That was when he was a little kid. You can't do that. That's all right. You know, priests. You know, I'll push your face. If you push that nun, I'll push your face. You can push nuns. I'm not pushing them. I'll push your face. I know you're the priest. I know I'm not the priest. I could be Jesus for all you know. For all you know, I could be. I will push your face. Like, so, but we'll get the sexy Jesuses. It won't just be your money though, will it? I'll tell you whose money we're going to get. All the nuns. That's going to be Nun's favourite. On the cover of Nun Monthly, there'll be a picture of a nun with the calendar. Like, like shocked but loving it on the cover of Nun Monthly this month. And it won't just be on month, it'll carry through because it's a calendar. So every month they'll turn the new one. Oh, shockers, new sexy Jesus. Every month it'll be a recurring theme. Have you seen this month's? I know they'll have seen. They buy the calendar. You look at them all straight away, don't you? You look at them all straight away. You don't wait till November to reveal what Kylie looks like in November. Kylie, he's supposed to be Hot Jesus. What, did you not all have a Kylie calendar when you were? No, you know what I mean. Hot Jesus. You won't wait till Hot Jesus October. You just look at them all straight away, and then you look forward to the one where they're a fireman. But we could just get Jesus, Hot Jesus, and then the nuns aren't like that though. They're not going to cheat Jesus. They'll wait till November. They'll wait till October to see if Halloween Jesus is a sexy Skellington, or if he's pouring maple syrup all over his pancakes. I don't know if pancakes are Halloween. Syrup is orange. So, sexy Jesus holding kittens. We'll make the calendar. The nuns will love it. It will sell out. Every month they'll be talking about it. Have you seen this month's new Hot Jesus? They'll be tweeting it. They'll be tweeting it. The nuns that are allowed to tweet, the ones that are given phones, will be tweeting it. The ones that are given an allowance will be able to spend their allowance on the Hot Jesus calendar. It'll be the scourge. It'll be the scourge of, where do they live? In the nunnery? The convent. It'll be the scourge of the convents. Mother Superior will be getting phone calls from the head priest coming in, smacking her. Stop looking at me! We've been through this, Mother Superior. Now, tell me again about these calendars. Where you keep finding them under the beds. Cracked. Someone's carved out a small crack in the wall and filled it with a page of calendar. Very thin crack in a wall. Filled it with a page of calendar that can be drawn out with a tweezer. And lo and behold, it's sexy. He does look good though, doesn't he? Do you mind if I keep this one? Of course, I'm keeping them. Stop looking at me. Sexy Jesus. The priests will be buying it. They need to buy it because they need to check out what they're going to be offended by. They can't not it's research. They'll say it's research. I'm only buying it for research purposes. I don't like sexy Jesus in that way. I need to see the calendar for research purposes. Well, I'm doing a lot of research. Well, I know I'm buying several. I've got that. Okay, I know I've got the bait. The research requires some lubrication. So look, lo and behold, oh, that's naughty. Allow it. Wait, washing Jesus' feet. Yeah, Jesus was into that. You see, it's all written in the Bible now. You see, now after this stream, you'll be able to go and read the Bible. It won't take you long. Thumb through it, like Peter would. Thumb through it, and Peter thumbing his tweeter. You see, that's the callback for that. Peter thumbing his tweeter. Peter thumbing his tweeter. Anyway, look. So sexy Jesus. That's what we've done today. That's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing. If the evangelists want, if they want to pay me to sponsor the stream, I'm quite happy to be sponsored by Evangelist Jesus and to change all of my opinions and say really provocative and powerful things about Jesus for money. Quite happy to do that for money if they want to pay me. I'll put ad on the screen when I'm saying it. Oh, Jesus loves you. Oh, Jesus is coming around your house to scare you into paying your debts. Are you tired of hair loss, hair in the sink? Jesus is coming around to pull it out. So pay me now or ask questions later. Have you tried cleaning your carpet with anything less than the holy blood of God? You could get £1 every time I say Jesus. Well, Jesus would sort that out, wouldn't that? That's what the collection box for, isn't it? I should get a collection box. Said that's what they do in the churches, isn't it? And then they pass around the collection plate, and what happens is at the end, the lucky nun, they like nun lottery because they've all got numbers, haven't they? All the nuns have got numbers. So at the end, the lucky nun that wins the nun lottery, she gets to keep the collection and spend it all on sexy Jesus porn. Oops, veered into porn. Thank you for the tippies. Thank you for the tippies. I veered into mentioning pornography there. Didn't mean pornography. Just, not triple X rated, just single X rated Jesus. Just with his shirt off. Not with his, that's not his wonka. You can't, just the hint of what wonkage. The hint of wankage. Not his full wonka, just the hint of wankage. Just a, you know, bump in a fold in the material. Not a full... Not going to get me taken off Twitter, Jesus. Just in terms of service, Jesus. Treading right on the edge like Amaranth, Jesus. That's the only name I know from that circuit, because she comes up every time. It's controversial, isn't she? Amaranth did this, Amaranth did that. Have you seen Amaranth's bum? If you've seen one bum, you've seen them all. So I only needed to see her to understand what the whole concept was. Anyway, look. So the Mental Health Monday went a bit well. We got some good work done. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. That's the main thing. But we're going to be back tomorrow, hopefully. I'm not going to try and break my bones about streaming too much. I've got to edit this, and it's going to be a chuffer, and I don't know if it will even work. Not going to try and break my bones, but I will try and get on stream. Got to deal with I've got to deal with the Universal Credit as well. I didn't ring them today. I couldn't be bothered with them. Got to try. Not going to, but you know, on stream more. Mental Health Monday, every Monday, 8 p.m. GMT. We're always here for that. I really appreciate you being here. It makes it better than me just talking to Jesus on my own. And now it's officially dog walking time. We've hit the 10th hour of the second half of the 12-hour segment of the day. That's officially 10 o'clock. 10 of the clock. When Jesus organised time, I wonder why he didn't make it decimal. I wonder if Jesus... Did he have a decimal process of subscribe? How many? Were there 12? Weren't there 12 disciples? And there's 12 hours in the clock. So maybe he did it on the disciples. When Jesus was allocating time and deciding on time, he decided to make it in 12-hour segments. And we've got to the 10th. We've officially got to Bappo o'clock. Bappo would have been one of the first ones. He would have been... We're officially at Michelangelo o'clock. And the dog is going to need a walk. He's not going to put up with all this chuffing. He's not going to put up with any of this chuffing. This is a funny story, but it's not funny, but it's funny. So I appreciate you for making the stream. So you don't have to thank me. You don't have to thank me. You don't have to thank me. Yeah, you don't thank me. When we go dog walking in the daytime, there's a nice lady, and she comes out of her house and she gives the dog a little biscuit, and she says, "Oh, hello, doggy. Do you want a little biscuit?" And she's old, and we stand there, and she talks, and I talk, and we say things, and it's pleasant. And the doggy has a biscuit. She's not been doing that very much recently because she's been put in a home. No, I laughed. It's not funny. It's not funny, is it? Jesus smacked my head. The nuns are allowed to laugh. Tittering nuns and wimples going, that's fine. Not you, though. You're not to laugh about that. But she's gone in a home, so it's a bit sad. It's nice for her in a way, because now someone's looking after her. I bet she's sitting around talking this sort of chuff with loads of people. I bet they've given her a nice hot dinner. Better than dog biscuits, which is what she was probably eating, because she had a big pocket full of them. Anyway, look, she's not there anymore. But the dog, when we go past her house, if I choose to walk out, if we go that way, the dog has got it into his head that she lives there and there's biscuits. So he drags me up her drive. He walks me up her drive. He walks up there, and I have to go, "No, come on, we're not going, come on. We don't live there. She's not there now. She's gone now." It's a bit sad, isn't it, in a way? A bit sad. I'm going to find out which home she's in, and I'm going to go and visit with the dog. That's something we've really got to do. Really got to do that. It's like a promise I've made myself. Got to go and visit them maybe I'd need the COVID and the testing and all that. Whatever. I want her to see the dog and to be like, "Oh, hello, I know that you're here now, so we've popped to see you. Isn't that nice?" That's something I'm going to do. So I'm not going to film it and put it on YouTube, but it's a private thing. But the dog doesn't know, does he? So when we go walking, he's going to drag me up there. It's going to be the middle of the night. It's going to be dark. And she's not there. She's gone. They've moved her out. So people are going to... Her neighbours, our neighbours, my neighbours, are going to think, "What's he doing going up to her house in the night time?" They're going to call Jesus on me. Jesus is going to turn up in one of his cars with the flashing blue lights. Jesus and Bappo are going to get out. Bappo's got his shotgun. You won't need that for this, Bappo. It's just somebody... it's a potential break-in, Bappo. I'm not breaking in. I don't know why I said that. I'm not breaking in. I'm not breaking in. The police said, Jesus, the police said it. Bappo's got his shotgun. You don't need to shoot people, Bappo. Taser, get the taser, Bappo. Well, you don't even need the taser, to be honest. Not the stick, Bappo. The dog will like the stick. Throw it for the dog. Throw it for the dog, Bappo. You go and play with the dog, Bappo. I'll chat to this guy. Now, what are we doing here, sir? Would you like to breathe into this? I don't need to breathe into it. I'm just walking a dog. If you're walking a dog, sir, what are you doing in this neighbour's garden? Well, it's a long story. Look, I've told it on stream. Why don't you go and watch that? Listen, if you can't be good, you see what's coming. You've been good. You've been good. You've been good. And if you can't be good, then Jesus will know. So I'll see you next time. I'll see you next time. The next amount of time that Jesus is allowed to allocate me. I'm going to get my wimple on now and put on my vestments and go back to standing in the corner of the art gallery like other naughty people. So if you can't be good, you're naughty.